Hi folks, it's the Dude. Today we're going to do some barrel changes. I want to bring you more content more quickly, so I'm going to show you just some basic barrel changes rather than compiling complete runs. I'm a little behind on my barrel changes. These have been rolling for about 12 days each. We're going to change the Model B, which is a 15-pound tumbler, the Model AR6, which is a 9-pound tumbler, and this is our Model T 3-pound tumbler. I want to transfer some rocks between these two. This has a little bit of filler in it. I'll probably move this to the smaller barrel, move the larger barrel to the medium-sized barrel, and put some new stuff in the large barrel. So we'll start with the small one. This barrel is going to have quartz in it. It's got some smoky quartz, some Girasol opal, which is just a type of quartz. I'm going to rinse this out and I'll be back with the rocks. I'm going to grade these. I have a bucket here of recycle. This stuff still needs to roll a little bit more. I have a bucket here which I call my finish bucket. These are things that are ready to move on to the polish stage. As we're grading these, some might get the impression that it's a question of, is the rock perfect and therefore moving along to polish, or is it flawed and therefore going back to stage one again? Actually, the question is, am I going to improve this by rolling it some more? Sometimes the answer is, yes, the rock is flawed. No, I'm not going to improve it. So you decide, are you going to move it on to polish, or are you going to take it out of the batch completely? And then there are a few, like these few flawed ones, that have some deep cracks in them. So I'm going to take that and smack it with a hammer, try to knock off that one piece. And none of these are going back in the barrel right now. I have the AR1, the slower barrel, running some of this material. So I'm going to leave it in the recycle bucket and the finish bucket and feed the AR1 from this bucket. I'm going to smack these apart and we'll be back with the next barrel. This barrel, our AR6, is rolling rocks that I got from Michael W. So they're rocks from Washington State. This is also the barrel that I recently blew a lid on. And you see that my false lid is slipped off the regular lid. So it's not doing its job yet. I'm hoping that once it gets roughed off, it'll adhere to the real lid, much like my smaller barrel does. But I'm going to get this cleaned up and we'll be back to grade these rocks. So I have some rocks here I'm going to move along. I added 3 more to this to move along to the finished stages. We had more rock than we could put in the 3-pound barrel. I chose some of the rougher stuff that I think is going to take the longest, and put that in the barrel. And I'll start a recycle bucket for this batch. We'll get some water on that, get some grit in that, and get that rolling. Our last barrel is the Model B, the 15-pound barrel. This has crazy lace agate in it. It's got Botswana agates, and it's got a little bit of agate from Haunted Ridge. I'm going to rinse this off and we'll be back in a moment. So some of this Haunted Ridge agate looks kind of neat. This one actually has some of the crystal pockets still on the inside. I don't know how good I'll be able to get that. I think I'll probably roll it a little longer. The Botswanas have been in there for a little bit. And they're kind of hard. They'll roll for quite a while before I decide to move them along. And then some of this is Mexican crazy lace agate, which is, a lot of that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to grade this batch. It's going to take me a little bit, and I'll be back to put it back in the barrel. I had a lot more variety in this than I thought. It wasn't just Botswana agates and crazy lace and the agate that I got from Haunted Ridge. There were some pieces of jasper in here. There was still some Bahia agates, and also a couple pieces of sodalite in here. I put most of the smoother stuff in the AR6 and a little bit of the rougher stuff. This is a Haunted Ridge agate. I put this back into the Model B. So this is some of the Haunted Ridge rock that I collected. And I got a lot of waste rock due to the fact that I'm not very familiar with this material. So I've been cutting off the crystally parts I can. And a lot of this you can't really salvage. You know, I might get a couple little crystal pockets out of this piece, but a lot of it's just porous material. And then a lot of your Haunted Ridge rock contains agate veins. And these are what I've been cutting up and trying to polish them. We'll see how they go. I have some of that material already cut up. And this is what it looks like. It might roll okay. I'm going to throw these pieces on in. It looks like we still have a little bit of room left in the barrel. This is some locally collected rocks that I've cut up. Mostly chert, a little bit of jasper, a lot of quartz. That looks like a piece of porphyry. I don't know how it's going to roll, but we'll give it a try. We'll put about 20 tablespoons of 60/90 coarse grit in that. And we'll get that rolling. And this is the finished bucket I've been collecting from the 15-pound barrel. And it looks like we have enough to start up the UV10, so let's start that up before we quit for the day. So it's not rolling as smooth as it normally does, and I think that's because the amount of large pieces that I have in there. I threw in as much small ceramic media as I could. We're going to put in 3 tablespoons of a medium grit. We'll roll it for a couple hours, see if the water needs adjusted at all, and try to keep it rolling for 2 or 3 days. I will note here that as soon as I got the grit in there, it did start rolling a lot better. Maybe the grit helps the rocks grip a little bit better on the edge. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Until next time, be happy, be kind, and make your home a safe place. We'll see you next time.